Hello, 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 and welcome to the Weaver's Web broadcast full of wisdom exchanges, rabbit trails, and macrocosmic reports. I'm so happy to have you here in the inaugural recording of the Weaver's Web broadcast. I am Carrie, the Energy Weaver, as many may know me, and I am the founder of the MacroSymposium, evolving since 2020. You may have previously known it as Seekers Evolving or the Energy Weaver Academy. We are always in flexible expression of embodiment and exploration of our authenticity over here, and so there's core elements of my work that has always remained the same, but I am always open to expanding and evolving into more of my complex symphony and helping you to do the same. For this inaugural session, we're going to get a little bit more of a rabbit trail vibe from the broadcast. I'm sitting here at the moment with a cup of coffee, a unicorn bowl of Schweetles, and I have some beautiful mullein plants that have been foraged and harvested this morning, sitting on the table in front of me with a bowl of water that has been blessed and has some flower essences and things in it, and some other things out here. And I am sitting down and bathing, blessing, and prepping the mullein leaves to dry. And mullein is one of the plant spirits that I probably have the closest bond to and has been most intricately interwoven within my spiritual journey as far back as like 2013, give or take. Mullein is a plant spirit that is most commonly known for lung and respiratory health and congestion clearing. And I'm not going to lie, the first time I began learning about mullein and working with plant spirits in general was because I was in college and I was looking for some plant spirits that I was in my very baby witchy stage at this point, back in 2011 to 2013, and I was researching plants that could be smoked, that could be used to kind of, we was on a college budget. And so I was researching some plants that I could mix in, to make it stretch. And so I have been working with plants in that way since then. And in fact, like one of my earliest kind of evolutions in my spiritual practice that was kind of like actually practicing beyond more just like learning and kind of in my head was I had a pendulum and I had a bunch of different plant spirits, and I would take the pendulum and I would go over each plant spirit with a person in mind, and I would use the pendulum to determine which of the plant spirits the person needed in their blend, and would be most like energetically supportive for them. And so I would make up these blends and either give them or sell them around campus. Used it to make my own, and that's kind of how I was introduced to mullein. And it has just evolved over the years, so to the point that in my local community, I have been called the mullein lady by multiple people, by people who didn't even know each other. Like they weren't even like from the same like friend group or anything. I have been dubbed that title, and it is one of my, one of the ones that I hold dearest to my heart, because I have such an affectionate relationship with being called the Mullein Lady. I've been at like local psychic fairs and had multiple people show up with mullein, either like mullein plants or mullein, like dried mullein, and just bringing me mullein. And so, yeah, it is that time of the year where the mullein is starting to get ready to where you can start to harvest it a little bit at this point in the year. It's definitely going to get a lot bigger, but this is when I like to get the baby leaves on the inside that I make a separate I'm making the 2025 Beltane Bloom flower essence blend. The last couple of years I've been getting in the, it's been an unexpected habit that I've started making flower essence blends with the flowers that me and the local land spirits collaborate to grow and make into blends for energetic use throughout the rest of the year. And so I've done that in the last couple of years, and I am doing it right now. I'm actually in the process of harvesting them right now. When I went and found the mullein today, I also what am I trying to say? Yeah, I also found some flowers for the blend. Some that weren't growing on my property and around where I live. And so yeah, I am selling some of the Beltane Bloom. So if that's your vibe, it's exclusive to MacroSymposia members. So hop on in there if you want. It's $33 for lifetime access. It's just like a one-time fee to get in the door. It's just kind of like the cover charge. It, helps cover fees and all the zhuzh from the website. And it also helps, is kind of part of the energetic contract to get through the wards, essentially, into that space, because I have lots of energy around my website and MacroSymposium, and it has a whole astral space and all that kind of stuff. So you can't get in unless, using energetic vibration with it. So same kind of vibe. So come find me if you want to. I also have the malignancy hex antidote oil that I have in there. That's a good one. But I made that one last year. I had an entire, when you have been working in the area that you live for a long time and like cultivating a bond with the land spirits, and I've been doing energy work and grid work around here for literal years. I've literally watched the weather patterns around the area change to the point where people will bring it up. Yeah, it's wild. But anyways, so I had a friend's property grow an entire plant community, an entire spell oil for me, the malignancy or hex antidote. I go back and forth. I call it both. It likes both names. And so literally, she told me one day, she was like, there's these flowers and plants that have grown right around here. And she's like, I'm pretty sure they're for you. And they were. So that's something that you can look forward to as you nurture your caretakership and your skills and your connection and your rapport with our planetary home. It becomes a very, symbiotic relationship back and forth of caretaking each other. And so we're also in the caretakership season in the MacroSymposia membership. That's kind of the theme and the vibe for the current learning projects that we're doing over there in the learning track. But yeah, so right now I'm harvesting and working through some mullein. I'm making, some of this is going to be for spell work, a very small amount, to be honest, because most of it is going to go in, I still use it as an herbal blend complement, and my herbal smoking blends are notorious, because people will be like, oh no, like I can use way less mixed in with this blend and get more lifted than if it was just straight THC. So my blend it has been cultivated, it has been crafted, it has been woven, it has been nurtured for years. So, if you end up getting one of the care packages that I'm doing, that's pretty much the only way that you can get your hands on this blend. If you get one of the care packages and my intuition or my rapport with you, and I know that you like that kind of blends, yeah, I'll throw in a smoking blend in your care package for you. But yeah, so most of this mullein is for my personal smoking blends, and then some of them might be for care package smoke blends. I usually just try to keep some mullein. I'll end up harvesting more as we get deeper into the summer, as the plants kind of get bigger and have there's more flexibility to harvest more crop at one time. I also make smoke bundles from them. I love mullein leaves make the best smoke bundles. They're perfect to wrap up and roll up your smoke bundles. I'll add in different plant spirits. I also grow like sage and lemon balm and different plants around the house. So I will mix those into the smoke bundle, add my spell oils in there. Yeah. If you've never used mullein for a smoke bundle, highly recommend. The leaves just make it perfect. And if you've only ever had mullein from a metaphysical shop, and you've only ever seen mullein as like this brown kind of like gritty, please, I don't know why people do this. Oh my God, it's just awful. It's awful. Oh, the energy is just deceased, non-existent. Please, I beg of you. Look for mullein from a small business owner that grows it themselves or has access to it or forages it, or, come get a care package from me and tell me you want some mullein. I'll make sure you get some mullein in it. Literally look around in your area. Mullein is kind of sort of treated like a weed in a lot of ways. It sort of kind of looks like a giant fluffy lettuce plant. It's the best way I can think of to describe it without showing you a picture. But if you're just buying mullein, it should be green. It should be soft and like fluffy and green. If your mullein is not green, please do not use it for any type of consumption. Use it for spell work, I guess, if you want, to pull in the energy. If that's all you have available, I unfortunately have some in my altar that I got from a retailer, and it was not to the quality that I wanted, and I just didn't feel like returning it. So it's also a good teaching tool to show the difference. But yeah, so please make sure your mullein is green. So yeah, some of my mullein is for personal consumption. It's also just really good. It really genuinely is excellent for respiratory health. So I usually will make like a tincture or a flower essence out of some of it. And then I will have some of it for smoking. And I have chronic asthma since I was a kid. Lived next to a paper mill during the formative years. So that was a fun little side effect of that. So I have chronic asthma. And so mullein is it is exceptional for keeping your lungs clear, flu season, all that kind of stuff. I kept mullein on deck during the Rona and all that kind of stuff. So mullein. I'm going to have some for consumption, for some bundles. The bundles aren't yet. I wait until summer when the leaves are bigger. And when they've already kind of flowered and stuff, for the smoke bundles usually. But when I'm harvesting it for consumption, I like to harvest it earlier in the year if possible. And so I also have some mullein root that I'll mostly be keeping that for spell work, but some of it will go in the tincture too. I usually do the whole plant in the tincture, a little bit of the whole, all the vibes for the tincture. And yeah, I'm trying to think, what else am I going to use it for? Yeah, I might use some for spell work. Oh, the stalks, when I wash it in, like I said, with some water and some flower essences and stuff in it that are blessed with the intention of what I want those leaves to kind of work towards within the broader blend. And I bathe the leaves, especially because I harvested where I got them from this time. Sometimes I get them from my friend's property, which, they're free from pesticides and all that kind of stuff there. And where I got them from this time is a little bit questionable. But, not super, super recommend. But that's also why I'm bathing them in a, cleaning and energetic cleaning, physical and energetic cleaning water. Because I got them from a local park. So they were in an area where there's not really much driving traffic going past. So you're not getting a ton of those fumes. It's not like straight off the highway where they're just getting dumped in fumes 24/7, but so they were a little kind of off the side, so it was a-okay. We got it energetically cleared. These were approved mulleins, and some of them I actually got off the trail during my fuck it walk this morning. I'm in the middle of a fuck it ritual right now, and a fuck it ritual, I try to do them kind of once a year-ish, whenever I feel the vibe. But they're really good. They're a ritual that you really run. You can do one just for the day, but unless you're going to really just go hard that day, typically it's better to give yourself like a solid week or two. So I started mine a few days ago, and I'll be running it. I think mine's running for about 2 weeks, close. I'm going to close it out around 5:15-ish. But when I do the fuck it rituals, it's just it's a neural recalibrator. It's a pattern disruptor. I'm hosting the fuck it ritual over in the MacroSymposium membership. I know. But you should be there. It's so good. There's literally so much in there. And I'm doing the fuck it ritual over there and kind of sharing some tips and tricks and insights, and it's also a place for like moral support if you want to pop in there and share what you're trying to kind of build up your courage to say fuck it and do during this ritual, but one of my little simple fuck it's this morning was I went to go grab pet food this morning, and there's a park like a mile down the road, and I had been out of mullein. My winter stock had been long gone. I had even gone and found some like from my friend's property that was like a little rough. I had been through it, that had been there through the winter, and ran out of that too. And I was like, I had even made a little bit with, don't judge me. I made a little bit with the other mullein that I had in my altar. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't put myself through this. This was a mistake. This was a learning experience. I had to remind myself. I just needed a refresher of why I do not use that kind of mullein. And so I was like, I'm going to go to the park. I was like, I'm going to find mullein. I was like, I bet you they're going to have mullein there. And it's going to be out of the way. It's going to be like, this is like where I live. Like, I'm like in the foothills of the Appalachians. And so when I say park, I mean like there's trails and stuff. I went on the trail at one point. I have a story time about that too that also involves mullein that I'm going to save for the MacroSymposia members and the Fuck It Ritual group, so I can tell them about it. So, you know, come over there if you want to hear about that. But, yeah. This morning I was like, I'm gonna go. I was like, fuck it. I was like, I'm just gonna pop down a little further. I'm gonna go walk the trail. I'm gonna go there first while it's still, you know, earlier in the day. I had put on real shoes. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm gonna go walk down the trail a little bit, and, you know, fuck it. I'm just gonna go, you know. Why not? And I did find Mullein, as we have discussed and as we have found. At the moment, I am washing the Mullein leaves, separating some of them were pulled off from the plant. Some of them still have the root and everything intact, so I'm pulling them off, washing them in the solution, giving them a little bath, a little blessing, a little love and affection. And then the ones that I'm planning on consuming, I cut off. I have ritual scissors and stuff, you know, everything. Why not make it consecrated and woven, and why not put the extra energetic effort if you're going to go this far and do all this? So I'm using my ritual scissors and everything to cut the stalks from the Mullein leaves. It makes them dry way faster and easier, and the stalks get in the way if you put it in the grinder, you know, pro tip. So I cut the stalks off, and I also use the stalks for spell work. They make excellent spell work for a variety of things. When they're dried down really good, you can also use them almost like incense sticks, or you can put candle wax on them. You can do a lot of things with Mullein. And I tend to send them as guardian guide sticks, like a protective energetic element to them. A lot of times I send them in care packages or whatever. When I'm mailing things, you'll see a little Mullein stick in your package to protect its journey to get to you safe and sound. So Mullein. So, considering it's 22 minutes and 22 seconds, as I was saying that, I love a synchronicity. Don't you? So, yeah, I just wanted to sit and talk with y'all. This might be a long one. I don't know. Why not? We'll talk until I feel like I'm done talking. But, yeah, I'm sitting here and watching the Mullein and doing all that, and I figured, why not sit and talk to y'all while I do that? I'm drinking some coffee. It's probably too late in the day for some coffee, but it is what it is. I got some water and some hydration here too. Why don't we take this moment to have a little sip of something to hydrate and nurture? Maybe if you want to, we're gonna hit the bowl together. Why don't you hit it with me if you partake? If not, have a little snack or another sip of your drink. Let me grab my things. I smoke out of a unicorn bowl. It's a little hand water one, and so it obviously has blessed water in it. And the unicorn is blessed too. Very Pegasian energy. Dyson, you say what did I'm giving you a moment to gather your items. And I am checking on my husband. He's getting off work. Sometimes he gets off around this time. Sometimes it's later. Sometimes they kidnap him for longer. So I am stalking his location to see if I should be expecting him to come in the door while I'm talking to y'all. All right. Are you ready? All right. I'm going to give you a little bit of a, while I'm here, I'm going to give you a little bit of a light language song woven invocation for your water or your little Schmeedles hit to give it a little extra love, a little extra zhuzh, a little extra macrocosmic rejuvenation. Okay? Let Easy. Toco simuia requeu. Tomar look do chumle, lucinia, gato, say, look at the manoa, took to sonwa. Hey, no, me hockey, salve, cola, cola, guy, same way, bow, idikino, mayo, no could say, sail away, same way, monway. Hey, a day, you to hey, your team, and I want to go to the gay, lay always say the cool mine Jose, holy go, mine Jose, high solo, all away the vice I high on way, they will high all, high on my. Now I'm going to take my hit. Okay. Don't you love it and you hate it when you hit the bowl and it doesn't want to go out? When it's a little extra generous. Ooh, that one felt good. Alright, so pro tip. If you know, you know. Use your convergent spherical breath techniques when you're partaking. Just do it. Just practice that visualization and energetic flow process. It makes a difference. Oh, and if you don't know about convergent spherical breath, then well, you know where to go. You know where to go. I don't have to keep saying it. You know. So let's see. Let me pull my Mullein. What do I want to talk about? What do y'all want to hear about? Let me send it to me. Send it to me psychically. Let me know what you want me to talk about now or later. And we'll see what comes up. I kind of want this to be a macrocosmic report, but I kind of decided how I'm going to do that without diagrams. If you like diagrams, if you're a nerd like me, then you know where to go. Especially the School of Primordiality. That's the high cosmic nerd tier of the MacroSymposium membership. That's where you go. If the idea of diagrams about soul mechanics and universe mapping and that kind of thing, if that gets your gears going, then that's the place to be. That's the place to be. It's the place to go to nerd out. I have been noticing that the energy in the plants is different this spring, than they felt even last spring. I'm not totally sure how to describe said difference. And part of this could also be we've had a lot of polysystem upgrades that have happened over the last year. And the polysystem, in part, runs through the Appalachian grid line, essentially. On the more upper crust layer of our planetary energy, the polysystem has multiple regions that it kind of takes up. depending on the vantage point and the dimensional density or devolution layer that you're looking at, and nerd stuff, it's cool primordiality stuff. And so but on like the the more land based, like what you can see from a map kind of direction, the Apollo system runs through the Appalachians. And it also, let me give me 1 second. These leaves need to be for the flower essence. Let me put them somewhere different. Taisel, taisel, paisel, tau. Why only mono manu mario? Shamya to kolayo to vayo so. There we go. All right. You almost gotta sing to them. You're harvesting them, especially for flower essences. But yeah, so the Apollo system runs mostly through the Appalachian grid line. It's one of my mechanism areas of expertise in just a little buggy. It's one of my areas of expertise mechanism-wise for this particular planet structure, mostly because my ancestral lineage is very linked to the Appalachians on both sides. And if you don't know, the Appalachians also take up a lot of Europe, up into down into like Portugal, into like the a little bit of the Sahara Desert. I didn't know that. I think it goes into, I could be wrong, I think it might go into like Finland and stuff too, but I could be wrong about that. I can't remember for sure if it goes off that wide. I know energetically the kind of aura and the kind of radius that the energy covers does go that far, but I can't remember if the Appalachians go that far or not. But yeah, and the Apollo system mostly deals with resource exchange energetics, which covers a wide gamut of substructures, submechanisms, subgrids. The wealth grid obviously falls under the Apollo system's substructures. But the Apollo system this is all under the primordial soul framework system and the soul mechanics system. And so that's kind of the system that architects, soul surgeons, even like grid workers use a modified version of it. A lot of soul lineage roles like that work with that system. Obviously, the primordial sources do as well, which also means like seed keepers of universes and that kind of thing will work with this system. And so that's just kind of, think of it like a dimensional overlay that you can click on, just for like a super simplified conception. Think about it as I can basically switch on this lens linked to my soul lineage in a lot of these roles, and I can blink on this overlay to see everything through the primordial soul framework or the soul mechanic lens, which started out through my energy weaving modality, which is also woven into all of this. Basically, that's how you wield. The framework is the lens. Macrocosmic embodiment is the embodiment practice. and the energy weaving is the modality through which you wield it. Though the remerging modality also falls under that scope. And so it's basically like blinking on this lens, and I can see everything through the primordial soul framework. And so I help activate this lens for other people. The cohesion remerging healing is like a super basic introductory level activation of this, but it's mostly for energy healing and reconnection to your macro soul. But my macrocosmic relumination is also that's really where I turn this back on for people. And if you find your way over there to getting that service, it's because you have an architect lineage, primordial lineage, seed keeper lineage, script keeper lineage, grid weaver, energy weaving, soul surgeon, that kind of lineage. And so you need to remember that lens to put different puzzle pieces together of other things that you remember and that you're meant to be doing in this lifetime. It's one of the big reasons. One of my big projects down here is to kind of way show that lens. I'm doing that also interdimensionally. I've been teaching it. It's so much easier to teach it in soul language. Retraining that though, it's going to be easy to do it down here too. But I've been teaching it interdimensionally through the universe. It always feels like a tongue twister when I try to say it out loud. The universities of universes. Damn. It's just a translation of a network of academies, basically, that exist to kind of like a more tangible and incarnated or expressed version of the Akashic Records, but it's more literally like a school. And that's associated with University of Ashion over in Ipthos, which Ipthos is a planet that is co-occurring parallel to us. So they are walking around, the Ipthosians are walking around on their planet right now as we speak, going to the University of Ashion there. And we also have a student exchange program with them, an interdimensional exchange program through, you guessed it, the MacroSymposium membership. Mostly the Weaver Symposium and School of Primordiality tier, but we kind of are doing think about the MacroSymposium membership as kind of like the prerequisite, or like getting the foundations down first. Kind of the space where you get kind of like the exposure to it. Like you kind of learn through exposure and through a lot of the foundations until you kind of get thrown into, think about it like you wouldn't want to, well, it's kind of like getting thrown into a country and starting to learn a new language just by being around it. And then Weaver Symposium and School of Primordiality is a more intentional being in a class and learning the more practical techniques and the details behind it. But yeah, I teach all this kind of stuff, not just on Earth, but in other places too, because some of the details behind these systems got lost when this cosmic region kind of went offline, you could say, way before Earth existed. But that gets into the primordial reset and all that kind of stuff. Oh, this leaf has been through it. La da 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 da, no 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 no. I think all of this was because I was talking about the plants feeling different, as I am prepping one right now. Oh yeah. So I've been teaching about soul mechanics and the primordial soul framework and the primordial reset and all that kind of stuff here and elsewhere. But the Paula system is one of those that I would see in that overlay. That kind of can translate. The whole point behind the overlay is that I can use it no matter what incarnate or expression body the soul that I'm working with is showing up as. Rather they are in a human body, whether they are in the body of group consciousness amalgamate, rather they're in the body of a crab, like a super conscious being, rather you are an arachnid-like being, rather you are an angelic-like being. You get it, or even like when I'm doing, like I said, I'm a macrocosmic specialist, so a lot of my work is in the macrocosmic scale. So like doing energy work on a planet is almost even like micro, but it still falls under that scope. But doing energy work on a galaxy or an entire universe or the macro totality, it's a unhinged. It's unhinged to experience. But that's kind of that was like my beginner's level. One of the blessings and the curses of being a macrocosmic specialist is that you kind of learn and do things to the more advanced extreme first, and then you work your way back down to the foundations and the basics. Like right now I'm relearning a lot of the foundations and the basics to be able to teach them, because it was easier for me to understand and wield the more advanced techniques at the beginning. I know. But if you're a macrocosmic specialist, you'll understand. You'll know exactly what I mean. But Paula system, resource exchange, Appalachian grid, all that good stuff. We've had a lot of changes to it lately, basically. The entire soul body structure of the group consciousness being that is our planet, which she takes up more than just the space of the planet, but the more, I guess, 3 to 4 dimensional structures of their body, mostly condense on our planet. It's been undergoing a lot of changes, which means that our bodies, which are an expression or like a construction of the Planetary's body, made out of the organic elements and then seeded with a source seed to carry a soul. That means we also are undergoing similar upgrades. But we've been having a lot of changes to the Paula system. And so that means the Appalachian grid has been changing, which I think is affecting the energetics of the plant life. definitely a rabbit trail episode. Faux show. But it all works back around as it needs to. In divine alignment, rabbit trails can be super potent with information. And when you're practicing macrocosmic embodiment, you practice a lot of non-linearity in expression and experience, which is one of the changes that's happening to the Pala system, is diversifying and fluidifying. No, that's not a word. It's a word now. The energetic process and flow of resource exchange. And like I said, resource exchange can cover a lot of stuff. It can cover the literal energy flow through the body. That it's one of the foundational soul mechanism systems, in that it helps distribute energy from the totality inward and vice versa and throughout the soul body structure. And so it can be just as base level as that, or it can be linked to like the hierarchy grid that had gotten corrupted. Well, it was kind of purposefully corrupted into the soul mechanism body system in a way that it definitely was not supposed to be there. And that's one of the root issues with a lot of, it ends up, since it's such a foundational system and structure, when that gets fucked up, that means everything else that comes after and between and underneath and all also gets fucked up, especially because it's one of the systems that helps move energy throughout the rest of the soul body. So when that gets corrupted, then the movement of energy throughout the rest of the soul body is corrupted. And then the rest of, you get what I mean? Like if it was localized to just one soul mechanism system, then it would have been less effective. Can't have that. So we have been having the deconstruction of the hierarchy grid, and it's basically like a mass that's floating separate from the Pala system now. It's no longer stuck and embedded and enmeshed into the Pala system anymore. And so it's we're working collectively to deconstruct it now that it's been separated, and now that we can restore. That basically made it impossible for any human bodies as a construction and, expression of the planetary soul body, to not have that corruption in their Pala system, because it was basically enmeshed into it. And now it's not. So when that got cleared last spring, which I was part of I participated in during the spring eclipse season in particular, and the Leo new moon. And I have a blog series about it, if you want to check it out, on the website, MacroSymposium.com. And when I was doing all that, that was what was starting to help the rest of the soul body come online. And it allowed more harmonious and complex flow of energy through that resource exchange system. And so I believe that's affecting the plants' energy flow and their ability to carry more complex consciousness and coding, which we love to see, which means you can get more nuance and more unique wisdoms when working with plant spirits, particularly that you've harvested, especially if you happen to live around the Appalachian grid. You can get a little bit more complex, energetic wisdom from them. And just if you haven't talked to your plant spirits lately, have a chat with them about it, about what has uniquely changed with that particular plant spirit. It doesn't have to just be Mullein, and it doesn't even technically have to have grown on the polysystem. We're seeing similar types of evolutions across the board. But I happen to be tangibly on the polysystem and the Appalachian grid, especially where I live. I do believe my husband is arriving home. I hear his motorcycle. La di da day, oh, do 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 day, oh, do 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 do. I feel like this rabbit trail is really just about connecting with the plant spirits, because they are extensions of, they are uniquely wisdomed extensions of the local land spirits. And some of your plant spirits, some of your plants have soul constructions, but a lot of them are like direct extensions, they're spirit expressions of our planet's soul body structure. And so when you commune and connect and conversate with the plant spirits, you're also, by extension, directly building your rapport with our planetary group consciousness soul body that we are currently sharing an incarnate expression with. And the more you build a symbiotic caretakership with the planet and our group consciousness soul body, the more it will bring online your soul body construction, your psychic gifts, your awareness of your unique path of fulfillment for this incarnate expression. Because especially if you're finding yourself in contact with me and connecting in this way, then on some level you remember what you've lived in incarnate expressions that were in group consciousness soul bodies, and you remember what that's like. And part of macrocosmic embodiment work in this case is reawakening that and reconnecting that consciousness bond and connection and capacity, which changes so much beyond just changing weather patterns and having the land around you grow plants for you, you know, as if that's not cool enough already. And with that, my husband has gotten home, and we're going to close out this episode of the Weaver's Web broadcast. Thanks for listening. Go talk to a plant today.